Thank you for renting with us here at RV4 America. We wanted to make this quick video today to go over an orientation on one of our Class C units. Most of our Class Cs are generally the same, so this video will pertain to all of our medium and small size Class Cs. If you're watching this video, chances are you've already done an orientation with one of our great employees here at RV4 America. Now, to back that up, we're going to create a video that you can watch any time of the day and get comfortable with this unit that you're renting yet again. So let's start from the back. We have one of our beautiful Class Cs here, and we're going to show you how to hook up all the power, the water, and your black and gray water tanks. We're at a campsite here, so we can show you how everything is done. All right, so starting from the back, you guys are going to have some big storage back here. All of our units you're able to open up, clip up. You can pack everything away that you guys need to. There's a lot of excess storage here, so anything you guys need that's valuable. You can also lock all these exterior doors here, so anything valuable you can lock away. That way you know they're safe and secure. So here on the Nation, our 30-foot Class C, we have our city water connection and our water tank fill. This can get a little confusing. We'll go over with you this during the orientation, but your city water is what you're going to hook up when you're at a campsite, as we are right now. Your water tank fill, as described, is going to fill that fresh water tank. Now, most of the time we will have this filled for you already during pickup, but when you come to the campsite, you're going to want to fill your city water connection. That way you're not drawing off of your fresh water tank in the RV itself. So when you're doing a setup at a campground, always best to work from the back of the RV to the front. That way you can check everything off. So our first out of 3 connections is going to be our fresh water hookup. Here we're going to show you how to hook up the fresh water from the campsite itself. As you can see, we've already hooked up our freshwater hose to the campground. We've retrieved our hose that is in storage in the RV itself. And on this end, we have a pressure regulator. We need to ensure that that pressure regulator is hooked up to the hose that you are plugging into the RV. On the right side, you'll see city water connection. No matter what unit you're in, make sure that you're hooking up to the city water connection and not your water tank fill. You're just going to simply pop this cover open and hook this up as you would a normal hose spigot. Want to ensure that you have a good seat here so you're not going to have any leakage. Okay, hand tight. Once you're in, this end of the regulator will spin. You're good to go. This end is tight. We always have the regulators on the hose for you guys already. Once that is hooked up, we're just going to simply go back to our campsite, turn on the fresh water. We don't need to have our water pump on inside the vehicle for our fresh water to work. So as soon as you turn that fresh water valve on, you're going to have fresh water directly into your RV. Each freshwater system here at RV4 America can differ slightly. On this unit, for instance, the freshwater system is very simple. You have your city water connection here, as we discussed, and your freshwater tank fill here. We're hooked up to the campsite now on our city water. If we were departing the campsite to return home or go to another campsite, we're going to simply unhook from the city water connection. If we want to fill the freshwater tank for use in transit, we're going to simply hook it up here to the freshwater fill and turn it on from our city site. Now, the way to know that this freshwater tank is full is every RV has an overflow. It'll simply overflow on the bottom of the RV. As soon as it does that, you know your freshwater tank is full. Each RV has different size tanks. These tanks can range from 30 gallons all the way up to 100 gallons. During your orientation, your orienter will go through that in depth with you so you know which size tank you have and how much to fill it. They will also go through where these locations are, since they're not always directly next to each other. So just ensure during your orientation you're aware of where your city water hookup is and you're aware of where your freshwater tank hookup is. Working forward on the RV, the next item we have is going to be our gas fill. The majority of our units just take regular gas. However, During your orientation, your orienter will go through that in depth with you. So just make sure you ask any questions that you may have regarding that. It is always best practice to fill up before you guys get to your destination, regarding whether you're staying at a campsite or you're staying off the grid. Reason being is these generators run off the gas tank in the truck. If the gas tank in the truck is less than a quarter tank, the generator will shut off. So if you get to a campsite and they lose power at the campsite and you need to run your generator all night for your AC and your fridges, you want to be prepared and ensure that you have a full tank of gas to run that generator all night. Next item that you're going to hook up when you arrive to your campsite is going to be one of the most important items. That's going to be your shore power. So when you're staying at a campsite, again, you're going to have your freshwater hookup, your shore power, which will give you all the electricity to the vehicle so you don't have to run a generator, and then your black and gray water tank. So this is the second item that we're going to tackle. This is your shore power. During your orientation, your orienter will go through with you the location of your shore power, as on every vehicle, it is a different location. On this one, we're going to simply open up the door and remove our surge protector that we provide for you. We're going to unplug it from the RV, as these RVs need to have a closed circuit. If you do not plug this back into the RV, you will not have power when you go to run your generator. So we're going to take out our power cord. We're going to locate our power station box, and we're going to take out all of our cord. Once we've unraveled our power cord from our RV itself and we've located our power box, we want to ensure we have enough cord to be able to properly hook up our power cable supply. Once we do, the first thing we're going to do is we want to ensure that this breaker for your 30 amp for your Class Cs or 50 amp for your Class As is in the off position. It is pivotal that you make sure your breaker is off before plugging in your surge protector and your power cord. Another item to remember that your orienter will go through with you is ensure that your generator and your ACs are off before plugging in this power cord. You don't want to create a surge, even though you have a surge protector, that can go through the RV. So once you ensure that your breaker is off, your AC is off, and your generator in the RV is off, we're going to simply come here. We're going to take our surge protector. We're going to directly plug our surge protector in. Then we can take our power cord, plug our power cord directly into the surge protector, ensure that's all properly set up, and we can turn our breaker on. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our RV and we're going to check to see if we have power coming from the site itself. This is what your average campsite power supply box looks like. One thing you want to ensure of is that you're hooked up to the right setup. All of our Class Cs and select Class As are 30 amp hookups, as you can see here. Some of the Class As will be 50, which is this big one on the left. And you want to ensure that you're hooked up to the right setup. As you can see, we have our 30 amp here, and our 30 amp breaker, which is labeled 30 right there, is on. The rest of the 50 amp breaker and then the breaker for our 110 plug is off as well. We have ability to use 110 here, plug in a regular extension cord, and turn on our 110 breaker. We have our 30 amp with our 30 amp breaker on, and we're not using our 50 amp, so our 50 amp breaker is off. So when you arrive to the campsite, just ensure you're hooking up to the right electrical outlet and your right breaker is on. All right, the final and the most exciting part of hooking up any RV at a campsite is going to be your black and gray water tanks. This is the part that everybody does not like, but we make it nice and simple for you guys. All of these tanks are gravity fed, so you simply pull a black or a gray handle to dump your tanks. We're going to show you here how to set up the hose, which will take less than 3 minutes to do. Not as bad as everybody thinks. All of our RVs come supplied with a sewer hose such as this one. They're going to be located in a storage compartment, and they all come in a nice enclosed bag for you guys. This will be gone through during your orientation with your orienter, and they will go through where everything is located for you. We always supply gloves, as you can see here, to hook up your black and gray water tanks. First thing we're going to do, don our gloves, and we're going to locate our black and gray water valve. You're only going to have one valve, but black tank and gray tank are different. They are set up different, but they have the same valve. The first thing you're going to want to do when hooking up your black and gray water hose to the campsite is to find the location at the campsite itself where you hook up. Here, you're going to find a PVC setup, and you can simply remove this cap. The clear end of the hose is always going to go into the campsite itself. We're simply going to take the clear end of the hose and just lean it right in there. There's no connections, anything of that nature, simply stays in there via gravity. A lot of campsites will have cinder blocks or big rocks around the area that you can place on top of the hose. That way, when you are draining your black and gray water tank, this does not move at all. That's the first thing you're going to want to do when setting up your black and gray water hose. Next thing we're going to do is locate our black and gray water valve. As you can see here, we have our black and our gray water handles identified by the black handle and the gray handle. The way we're going to figure out how to hook up our black and gray water hose to our black and gray water valve is simple. We're just going to look here. We see this has 4 tangs and is a quick disconnect, as is the black and gray water valve. We're simply going to remove this safety cap, let it hang, and then we're going to simply take this quick disconnect, hook it up to the valve, twist, ensure it's locked into place, and now our black and gray water hose is hooked up to the valve itself. The last thing you're going to do when you're hooking up your black and gray water hose is you're going to come over here to the black and gray water valve, and you're going to pull your gray handle. You'll hear fluid release, and you can see on the clear end going into the site, it draining into the PVC sewer. The reason why you want to release your gray valve when you're hooked up to the campsite is your gray water tank holds all the water from your sinks and your showers. Those will fill up significantly faster than your gray will, and you don't want to overflow your showers or your sinks, which can happen within one night of showering and using the sinks. So always ensure your gray water valve is open while at the campsite. Your black water valve will stay shut until it needs to be drained or you're leaving the campsite. You will always want your solids to remain with fluids in the black water tank. So keep an eye on your valve, ensure that's shut, and keep an eye on your level tank. And as soon as you need to drain that, simply come out here, pull your black handle, and it'll drain out. Now that we've had our water hookups, our black and gray water tank, and our power hooked up, and we know that we're good to go and we're staying at this campsite, the last thing we're going to go through is our generator. Generally, when you're using the generator, everything can be ran from inside the RV, which we'll go over in a different video. However, there's one troubleshooting video that we've already referred to that can help you out in case you run into trouble. During your orientation, your orienter will familiarize you with your generator compartment, such as here. If you are running the generator and you lose power inside, but your generator is still running, it is more than likely just the breaker that is in the generator itself. Please refer to the other video that we have on our YouTube to discuss how to fix that troubleshooting issue. If you do have that issue where the generator is running and you lose power in the vehicle itself, simply come out to the generator, open up the cover, locate your breaker switch, which is right here, and ensure that is in the correct position. Your orienter will go through this process with you during your orientation. One of the great features about all of our vehicles is the onboard propane. This allows you the ability to cook or use a fridge while in transit. Here we're going to show you how to simply turn on or off your onboard propane. The propane on all of our units runs the cooktop and or the oven if it is equipped with an oven. All of our Class Cs have the ability to run the fridge and the freezer on your onboard propane as well. That's what makes RVing so great, is the ability to use all these features off the grid or in transit. And this is one of your biggest features. So here, your orienter will familiarize yourself with the location of the propane tank. Once you've located your propane tank, it's going to look as such. Your gauge is here, which is going to be your most accurate gauge. When you go to return the RV and you go to fill up your onboard propane, they will only fill these to 3/4, so do not be alarmed. This will never go to full. All you're going to do is come out here, turn on your propane, such as you would a gas grill. These are meant to stay on, so if you're in transit, you can turn on your hot water heater, you can turn on your stove, anything of that nature, so do not be afraid to leave this gas valve on. One of the greatest features about our RVs is the outdoor entertaining areas. You're out there in the great outdoors, you want to utilize your outdoor space. Most campsites will have a great pad such as this one. Well, we want to stay out of the sun, so all of our RVs have awesome awnings such as this one right here. Very easy to use. Once you're hooked up at the campsite with your black and gray water, your power, and your freshwater hookups, all you're going to do is find your awning button here, which is a simple retract or extend. Hit that button and your awning will come out. Now, most of your vehicles will have a safety feature that the truck has to be off for the awning to come out. Also, all the awnings will have push buttons such as this, so as soon as I let go of the button, it'll stop. Try not to extend the awnings out fully, as it can cause issues with the wind. One thing you do want to be weary of is if you do leave your awning out during the day, make sure it's not very windy. These will break with any sort of wind gusts, so if you're not using the vehicle for an extended period of time, please retract your awning. To retract your awning, you're simply going to come into the RV, hit your in button, and the awning will retract. While you're retracting or extending your awning, just be careful of any trees or items that could damage the awning. One of the biggest things is to also ensure that your awning is fully retracted before you leave the campsite. Welcome to the inside of the beautiful RV that you rented from us here at RV4 America. We want to go over a couple things that are in the interior of each vehicle that we have in our rental fleet. One of the most important aspects for the interior orientation is going to be your control panel. This is going to control the generator, your water heater, your water pump, and also all your levels for your black and gray water, your propane, your house battery, and all of the other features that are inside of your RV. So let's take a little bit closer look at this control panel. On all of the control panels throughout our fleet, you're going to find a generator stop and start button, a water heater on and off button, and some vehicles will have an electric water heater along with a propane water heater. Most of the Class Cs will just work off of a propane water heater. So whether you're hooked up to the campsite or have the generator running, your gas, meaning your LP, will have to be on for your water heater to work. Other features are going to include your water pump, which again, if you're hooked up to a campsite and to city water, you generally will not need. if you do have low pressure at your city site hookup, you can always supplement it with the water pump. And finally, you have all your levels for your onboard LP, your gray water tank, your black water tank, your fresh water tank, and your house batteries. As a heads up, some of the black and gray water tank valves do not work accurately, so you'll just have to maintain a proper level in them. Generally, a good rule of thumb is to empty your black water tank once a night if you're staying at a campsite. The first thing you're going to do to start your generator is you're going to hold the stop button down. You'll see a light come on the generator, and that is preheating. As soon as that light is on, we let go and we hold that start button. Generally, your generator will start within 5 to 7 seconds. You'll hear a beep, and as soon as you hear that beep, the RV is getting power from the generator. Another way to tell if you have proper power is to check your microwave, just as you did when you hooked up to shore power. The next thing is your water heater. Again, some of these run off of propane, and some of them will run off of the electricity from the generator or the shore power. Generally though, they will run off of propane. So all we have to do is ensure our propane tank is on outside, come inside, hit this on. If you hit that on and within 10 minutes you don't have hot water, simply turn this off and turn it back on, and it should relight at the pilot light outside. Here we have our water pump. If we're in transit or we're staying remotely, we have to turn this on, as you can see by the on light, and now we'll have water pressure in the RV. Again, if you're not staying at a campground, this water pump does need to be on. If you are at a campsite and hooked up to city water, you can turn this off. One of the biggest features of renting an RV is being able to cook indoors on your gas cooktop. So let's dig in a little further. We'll show you how to work these. All of our units feature a gas cooktop. Some units, depending on the unit you're renting, will feature an oven as well. Both your oven and your gas cooktop will always run off of the liquid propane that your RV is supplied by. They will never run off of electricity, so just remember that you always have to have the gas on to run your oven or your gas cooktop. So let's show you how to light one of these. As you can see, all 3 burners will have a light button, just as your normal gas grill will. All we're going to do is simply turn this. We're going to hold the button down, and at the same time, we're going to depress our lighter button. You can hear it clicking. We can keep our button held down until we find our desired cooking temperature. We're going to show you how to properly light your gas cooktop. As you can see, all 3 burners will have a light feature. This is going to be your spark here. We're going to turn our desired burner to the spark feature and depress the knob. While the knob is depressed, we're going to light our cooktop, and we're going to find our desired cooking temperature. As soon as we're done, we can simply turn it to off, and you're good to go. All right, you've done the orientations for the outside and the inside of the RV that you rented. Now, you're ready to get on your way and go enjoy that vacation you've been long waiting for. So come follow me, let's jump in the driver's seat. We'll show you how to drive this bad boy. All right, you've hopped in the driver's seat, you're ready to head out on your trip. We want to go over a few key features of driving one of these RVs. Driving one of these RVs is very simple, just like any medium-sized truck. If you have ever rented a U-Haul or anything of that nature, this will be very easy to drive. Obviously, you're going to have your forward key, and as soon as we turn on the vehicle, we're going to have some pretty cool features. We're going to have different stereos throughout different units, but they all will contain a backup camera such as this one. When we turn on the backup camera, as you can see, we can now see behind us for parking or just driving down the highway. Be sure to use these features as they're great for driving, seeing behind you, and also parking. All of the units will have AC such as this one. They all have manual lights, so for nighttime driving, just ensure your lights are on. They are all automatic, so it is driving just as a normal vehicle. Driving one of these units is very simple. It is a little bit bigger than your average vehicle, but you just want to ensure that your corners are clear. So as long as you have a good perimeter around the vehicle and you move slowly, driving one of these and getting used to it will be a piece of cake for you. Enjoy your trip.